Shalom family. So let's just look at some stuff that until now has been always passed as conspiracy theories and information that's not true and blah blah blah. It's all facts. But to give you a break from the onslaught of just Israel-Hamas war going on at the moment in the Middle East, let's look at other stuff that they're working on in the background and have been working on for many years. That's really interesting. So there's just two things I want to share with you quickly for those who did not know this yet, because a lot of you have actually looked into these things. First, Lucifer is part of the large binocular telescope, which happens to be right next to the Vatican Observatory on Mount Graham in Safford. That's right, the Vatican has an observatory in Arizona manned by Jesuit astronomers. Now, it's interesting as well, if you really want to go down that rabbit hole, that exact place where they've got their observatory, the Vatican, is a place where the native Indians say is a portal where people have been coming and going from our plane to another plane for many, many centuries. So a connection to another place. And this is where the Vatican chooses to have their observatory. And this is where Lucifer is. Lucifer stands for Large Binocular Telescope Near Infrared Utility with Camera and Integral Field Unit for Extragalactical Research. Can you imagine sitting down and being told we need to dedicate this telescope to Lucifer, come up with some sciencey words to make it look like we didn't do this on purpose? Really? Really? It's just absolutely insane how stupid they think we are. It's a chilled instrument attached to the telescope in Arizona. The Lucifer instrument helps astronomers see through darkness to most distant observable objects. Again, total coincidence. It's such a coincidence, in fact, that when people started waking up to this and asking questions, they suddenly changed the name to Lucy, L-U-C-I. Why bother? Just call it Lucifer. That's what you set out to do in the first place. That is who it's dedicated to. Stick with it now. Why change it to Lucy to try and hide the truth? Interesting, don't you think? Now, to get to the next one, I've got to talk to you about Theosophy. For those who haven't heard of this, Theosophy is an occult movement originating in the 19th century with roots that can be traced to ancient Gnosticism and Neoplatonism. The theory Theosophy, derived from the Greek word theos, God, and sophia, wisdom, is generally understood to mean divine wisdom. Forms of this doctrine were held in antiquity by the Manichaeans, an Iranian dualist sect, and in the Middle Ages by two groups of dualist heretics, the Bogomils in Bulgaria, and the Byzantine Empire and Cathari in southern France and Italy. In modern times, Theosophical views were held by Rosicrucians and by speculative Freemasons. The international New Age movement of the 70s and 80s originated amongst independent theosophical groups in the United Kingdom. People don't realize the influence Theosophists have had on the United Nations. And that's what I'm getting to. Theosophy, founded in the late 1800s by a Satanist Luciferian occultist named Helena Blavatsky, influenced modern Theosophy. The group spawned for it under Alice Bailey, called the Lucis Trust. That's their modern name. Originally founded under the name Lucifer Publishing. Now, Lucifer Publishing, in your face, Lucifer Publishing, did the publishing and the paperwork publishing for most of the United Nations documents. They worked closely together. Lucifer Publishing. Again, suddenly people start waking up. There's a bit of an outcry. Boom, change it to Lucis Trust. Interesting. It's just mad how they put this in front of you, in your face, and they slightly change a letter or two when you start waking up and everybody forgets about it again. Many prominent UN directors were Luciferians, such as Robert Mueller, Maurice Strong. They initiated Agenda 21. Look it up. They were practitioners of theosophy, occult Luciferians, and drafted policies to initiate the new age through United Nations policies and directions, as the United Nations was developed to do. David Spangler, Director of Planetary Initiative at the United Nations, department has since been removed, since people woke up, said, Lucifer comes to us as the final Luciferic initiation that many people now and in the days ahead will be facing, for it is an initiation into the new age. No one will enter the New World Order unless he or she will make a pledge to worship Lucifer. No one will enter the New Age unless he will take a Luciferian invitation, an initiation. Benjamin Cream, another prominent New Age prophet, on page 128 of Maitreya's Mission, insists that those who refuse to join in the world initiation will find themselves in the minority and will have to withdraw from this life. Cream exhorts his followers to be not afraid, therefore, when the men of cloth raise their voices against the great Lord, naming him Antichrist and arch-deceiver, for they know little of the laws which underlie their faiths and act and speak from ignorance and fear. Again, there's a reason they've relegated all these facts to conspiracy theory nut jobs off to the side. But it's all there. And it all gets slightly tweaked and changed so that people will forget about it and keep looking elsewhere where they want them to look. Lucy Telescope used to be Lucifer. Lucius Trust used to be Lucifer Publishing. And their open plan was the New World Order. Everything is gearing up for this generation, Ha'akaron, the final generation, to see all things that the Word of God mentioned come to pass. Now is the time to get right with God, grow closer to Him, and make a difference while we can. God bless. Keep looking up. Shalom.